Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the player ratings. Manchester City 2, Everton 0 at the Etihad. Disappointing to lose any game, let's be honest, but I don't know. One of them today. Game of two halves in many ways. Done well in the first half and then just didn't have the same standards in the second half. But let's get into it. Jordan Pickford made 5 saves in total. Could he have done better for that second goal? Am I being harsh? Does Toffee get in his way enough? I don't know. Might be being a bit picky there. Made some couple of big saves towards the end. But listen, it is what it is. Without him, it would have been a bigger scoreline. I just asking the question more than anything. Could he have done a little bit better? Maybe. But well, it is what it is. Yeah. So Jordan, I would give a 6.8 for today. Brien, it was never going to be an easy day for him with the pace that Manchester City have, and it's always hard. I think it's always been hard for Jake. I think it's hard for any centre-back to play at right-back with the size he is, not having that centre. You just don't see full-backs that are that kind of size for a reason, because you have to be agile and you have to have a short centre of gravity to match them at their own game and have that kind of pace. Ground duels, 4 ground duels, none won. Aerial duels only won 1 out of 3. It was a pretty tough game for Brien out there today. Dribble past once. His offensive numbers: 41 touches, 1 dribble attempt, unsuccessful. 86% pass accuracy. Listen, it's, as I said, it's tough. It's tough. I've been saying this since the summer. I've been quite consistent on this. We Everton need a right back. It blows my mind that we didn't get a right back, considering the first play we tried to sign in the summer was a right back. It literally blows my mind. We need a right back. That's not against Jake. Jake should be playing centre back and should have been playing centre back for the first 8 games this season. Or 9 games, sorry, or whatever it is. It's the 8 games, yeah. It blows my mind. He should have been playing centre back, and he hasn't. And for me, that's something that they've just got wrong. My opinion. It might be proved to be completely the other way. The experience Jake O'Brien gains from playing at right back might be invaluable in the end. I just think it's. I think it's a bit boring to talk about it all the time, but I just don't think he should be playing there. And Nathan Patterson isn't going to be a right back for Everton, and the next player is James Coleman or James Garner. But I don't like taking anyone out of position. I think it's a massive oversight that we don't have a right back playing right back, even if it was just a short term, like Kenny Tete was. That's what blows my mind, is that we were going to get Kenny Tete for 3 years as almost like a short, not short term, but you know what I mean. Someone, a professional, to go in there who's a right back to play right back. I just find it such a big loss, and I think it makes an impact. I think it makes an impact on the rest of the team. Michael Keane is a 4th choice centre back, and therefore should be spoken about like a 4th choice centre back. He's not the 3rd choice centre back. Certainly not this. He's not a starting centre back. So he's not. He should. I don't think Michael Keane's done anything outrageously wrong, but he does make mistakes in games that maybe Jake O'Brien wouldn't make, and Branthwaite certainly wouldn't make them. So to have your 4th choice centre back playing the first 8 games of the season is going to be and is an issue, and it has been an issue. So I just thought Jake was poor today. So Jake O'Brien, I give a 5. Vitaly Michalenko on the other side, a difficult day for him as well. Only won 1 out of 7 ground duels, won 1 out of 2 aerial duels. Tackles, won 1 out of 1. His offensive number 42 touches, dribble attempts 1 unsuccessful. Passing 96% pass accuracy, 22 out of 23 passes that was. Again, really tough day for him as well. Not as tough as Jake, but I think Everton need a left back as well. I think the difference is he is a left back and he can play then. He has a certain level for you. But he's doesn't give you anything going forward. Listen, it's nothing new. It is just what it is. We bought a backup left back who doesn't seem to be anywhere near capable of being involved in games of football. Not even coming off the bench. Again, very strange. Find these decisions, one of these decisions just very strange. But yeah, wasn't Michalenko normally does actually a bit better, to be fair, in these kinds of games, and thought he was a bit off it today. There's one just before half time where the lad took the touch and come inside and he was absolutely cooked for it. But Michalenko, I would give a 5.8 for today's performance. James Tarkowski, again, I thought at times today he looked very, very old, is the best way to say it. Won 2 out of 2 tackles, won 2 out of 3 ground duels, won 5 out of 5 aerial duels, but he looked slow. 8 clearances, 1 recovery, 2 blocked shots. But they managed to get round the back line a few times with just one simple pass. I don't know. There's talk that, he's still playing with somewhat of or has been playing with somewhat of an injury. Listen, he was up against the best today, and he wasn't at his best. Excuse me. He wasn't at his best. But I think late on, those passes around the back really did expose him and Michael Keane as a partnership. And I think the sooner we get Branthwaite back on the side, the better. Sooner that happens, the better, because they just look as a partnership really slow at the moment. So James Tarkowski, I'd give a 6. Also for the goal for James Tarkowski, first goal, I don't know why him and Michael Keane are running towards the goal when there's a free man with a free header. And Michael Keane was the nearest man to him. And it's big decisions and big moments that cost games. And you can be all right for the rest of the game, but it's when you make those, it's in those big moments. Michael Keane, 1 interception, 4 clearances, 1 ground duel, didn't win it, 1 aerial duel, didn't win it, recoveries 3. As I said, Michael Keane is Everton's 4th choice centre-back. I have no issue with that. I do have an issue with the amount of games he's played this season so far. He should never have played this amount of games. Don't get me wrong, in some games he's been absolutely fine, but I think when it comes to moments and a game like this, I have no idea what Michael Keane is doing for their first goal. Like, literally can not fathom out why both of your centre-backs would run backwards when the ball's not going that way, and you leave the most dangerous man in football, not in this game, not in that penalty, in football, the most dangerous man in football, 12 yards out with an opportunity for a free header. It's like, I don't know, were they trying to do what Palace did last week? Like, one of us will get a block on this. I find that incredible. I found it poor from Tarky, but it's Michael Keane who's the closest to it. And I find that kind of decision-making, like, just absolutely incredible. Because it wasn't even like it happened quickly. The lad got to the byline, And you could see exactly what he was going to do, which is stand it up with the most dangerous man in the box unmarked. And I just find that absolutely incredible. I really do. To not go and challenge the player, to at least put him off, to give Taki an opportunity and the goalkeeper an opportunity to block it. I was watching the other night, I was watching Ireland play, and something similar happened to Ronaldo. And I think it was James Collins, and the ball was getting stood up. And all James Collins did was jump with Ronaldo, and he jumped enough to stop Ronaldo getting a clean header. And Ronaldo, it looked like it was going to be a goal all the way, and Collins just jumped and he put him off, and it stopped Ronaldo from scoring what would have been, I think, a certain goal because he was so close to the goal. And that's all this needed. I just don't get that decision making personally. So Michael Keane, for me, just on that one moment, is a 5. I thought that was just a really, really bad moment for us because up to that point, we were doing all right. We were, okay, riding our luck. But to give Erling Haaland that much space for a header, 10 yards, it wasn't even 10 yards out, I don't think. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Just really, really poor decision making. Yeah. Let's go into midfield. James Garner. Probably didn't have his best game. Got caught out. They nearly scored. Jeremy Doku nearly scored. Got caught out in possession when he took the ball on the halfway line. 81% pass accuracy. Won one of his 2 tackles, 3 interceptions, 5 clearances. Won 4 of his 12 ground duels. 47 touches of the ball. 81% pass accuracy. Yeah, I think, listen, James Garner's had a really good start of the season. I think it's in these games again where it shows when you're up against the absolute class of the division and in Wales football that there's another level to go to for someone like James Garner. And I don't think he wasn't terrible by any means, but he also didn't grab hold of the game and show me anything today where you're like, oh, you are on that level. You know, people talk about him for England and stuff. These are the games you have to sort of do it in. And he didn't really show me anything more than I didn't know about James Garner. So he was fine. 6.5 I'd give him. He was fine, but he was not really offering any more than what I've seen. And I think in a game like this, you have to raise your game to the level of the opposition if you want to be as good as them. And I just didn't see that from James Garner today. Adisa Garner-Gay, just come from back to probably this would be the game where you'd look to rest Adisa Garner-Gay if possible. Just played a couple of games for Senegal. This is where you'd want maybe younger legs in midfield. But with Maitland Roll, again, not coming back, only just coming back. Tim McBoonham, not really his position. But listen, 2 out of 3 tackles, won 4 out of 5 ground duels, won. 85% pass accuracy, which is decent. So it's low for Adisa. 27 passes, 23 accurate. Passes in his own half, 10 out of 10, 100%. Passes in opposition half. 13 out of 17. So again, Adisa was fine. These are the games though where you'd probably go, nah, we'd like a little bit more energy. And he did take him off towards the end, didn't he? Again, after playing those games. So Adisa, I would give a 6.9 for today. Keenan Dewsbury Hall, I thought he started really well. I thought early on he was getting into good areas and trying to make a difference, trying to get us high up the pitch. I think that sort of had to sort of stop as City started to get a grip on the game. 92% pass accuracy. Won 4 out of his 7 ground duels. Only 25 touches. 2 dribble attempts, 1 successful. no shots. And that's maybe a little bit of a disappointment for me with Keenan Dewsbury Hall. I really do want to see him get into the final third and start joining up. Maybe this isn't the game for that, but I do want to start seeing him start getting into the final third and start being that player who runs past the centre forward. Didn't really see that today. Again, listen, he was fine. He was fine. Maybe want to see a little bit more from him in the final third, but just wasn't quite there today. So, just one of those games. Keenan Dewsbury Hall, I would give a 6.7 for today. Illiman and Jai, absolutely brilliant performance, especially in that first half. He was absolutely fantastic. His ability to just pick up the ball and beat people with such little effort. He's so good at what he does. He really is. The way he dribbles, the way he moves. 4 dribbles, 2 successful. He just moves with so much ease. The way, 1 shot on target, obviously, good save from the keeper. Big chances created, 1, 2 key passes. There's the ground duels, 14, won 5 of them, but the fact that he's involved in 14 ground duels, won 3 out of 3 tackles. The lad was absolutely brilliant today, and so interesting that he's sort of been overlooked playing on the right-hand side, and questions have been asked about him. But today he really did take that responsibility, and I just hope going forward that him and Jack Grealish equally, because they're different in the way they play, and they can give us so much as well. Because what we saw today is Jai gets out of impossible situations with his dribbling, and he knows exactly what he's going to do as well. He's got so much confidence. He doesn't lose the ball that often, and that's the same with Jack Grealish. They keep the ball so well, and that really for a forward and an attacking midfielder should really give them with so much hope that if they get in the right positions. The first one he creates for Beto pulls off him, and really Beto should just be tapping that in. The one in the second half for Milan Roll, okay, that's a bit more difficult for Roll, but he's created that out of nothing. But he makes things happen all the time, and it's so annoying. The commentator mentioned it during the game about the last time we beat Manchester City and we had Lukaku. And you can only imagine the kind of chances that Njai and Grealish would make for a Lukaku. It would just be, yeah. If we had a good centre forward, the chances that would be being created for them would be unbelievable. Maybe it's something Everton really should push the boat out for. Is a centre forward that is scored. I mean, seen Walter Maid scored again for Newcastle today. The difference between him and Barry was £30 million, £30 to £40 million. Is it worth playing that extra £30 to £40 million for a goal scorer that comes into the team and scores goals, and you've got the players that can do it? Because I was watching him and I was thinking to myself, he's not putting himself in the shop window as in deliberately, but he's so good. And Everton in the last few years, and they've got a history of doing this, is having really good players at the wrong time. And I really hope that doesn't happen again, because that's what good teams do, is they put teams together at the same time. They have the players. You can look back at Everton over the last 30 years and look at some of the players we've had and go, imagine he'd played in the team with him. And you're only talking about players who played 3 or 4 years away from each other, but you look at them and think, imagine he'd played in that team, or imagine, you look at it now and think, imagine Grealish had played with Lukaku, or you imagine Richarlison was in this team, or you know what I mean, or you imagine you look at it and think if we'd had players just over a couple of years playing in the same team as each other, the difference it would have made. Imagine Baines was playing in this team, or whatever it is. And Everton have to get that centre forward to play in the. I mean, obviously we don't know whether Jack Grealish will be at Everton next year, but Everton have to get a centre forward to make it easier for these guys, because it's just like it feels wasted. It feels You look at them and you're watching these plays, and you're like, wow, that's amazing, and then you see who's up front, and you're just like, what's the point? What's the point? We'd have probably double the goals if we had a good centre forward, because we have people like Njai who create the opportunities. So I thought Njai was absolutely sensational today. He tired a little bit in the second half. After doing so much. But if we can start creating chances on the right and the left, we're going to be such a more difficult team to stop, and we should be scoring more goals. As I said before, the centre forwards, the midfielders can take chances getting into the box, knowing that good opportunities are going to be made for them. And even those two, Grealish and Njai, creating opportunities for each other as well. But Everton have to get a centre forward. They really do, to help these players. I know it is the hardest, but sometimes when you stop and you think to yourself and you go, if we had the money, if we've got the money, then why shouldn't we be buying these? Okay, I understand teams playing in Europe, playing Champions League, will always have a better chance. Always. Players don't want to sign for teams that are not in Europe. But even if it's just the next level up, players were just scoring goals. But Njai was just absolutely fantastic today. It was a pleasure to watch him play football. And he was the best player on the pitch for most of that game. Probably Haaland's probably took it in the end, obviously, because he scored the goal. But he was brilliant, Njai. So I'd give Njai an 8. Carlos Alcaraz couldn't really make an impact on the game like he did last week. Again, shoehorned over to the left. And listen, he didn't the right to be in the team. And he worked hard today. But there wasn't much. There wasn't too much attacking output from him. 89% pass accuracy. 100% pass accuracy in his own half. 78% pass accuracy in the opposition half. He just couldn't get into those areas where, when he's playing centrally, that he can change the game. It was more like it was more like a just doing your job, doing a job for the team today. So we didn't see all the good things that Carlos Alcaraz could do, because he was just very much doing a job for the team. So, yeah, it was a difficult game for him. He was in the same bracket as like a Dewsbury Hall, and almost James Garner, where you want to see just a little bit more for them, and it just wasn't there. And as I said, it was more of a defensive performance in the end from Carlos Alcaraz. So we just didn't have the threat. We didn't have the threat that Jack Grealish gives us. And that's been such an important thing for us. So it was tough. It was tough for Carlos Alcaraz today, and he didn't give us what he gave us last week, which is disappointing. A difficult day for him. But he earned the right to be in the team. Give us, I'll see where he won't be in the team next week. Where was I? So yeah, the two shots. One, he had two obviously big chances. but the stats only say he had one big chance because the second one was offside. I think the second one would have been onside. David Moyes thinks it would have been onside. I think he's got to get that on target. Has to get that on target. It's a huge opportunity. It's good movement. He's found in there, but he has to hit the target. He has to make the goalkeeper make a save at least. Yeah, it's in the it's it. Listen, I know people give him the benefit of the doubt for the one he missed against Palace. I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't give him the benefit of the doubt because people give him the benefit of the doubt because he scored. If we hadn't scored, no one's given him the benefit of the doubt. He's missed there two. For me, the first one is an absolute sitter. The second one, he has to make the goalkeeper make a save. He just has to. But what can we do? Our other striker is Barry. So unless we put Diblin in on the right and put in Jai up front, then until January, well, we lose in Jai in December. So what do? We've got, a lot of games till then. I don't know what we do. But listen, we can't have this thing of like giving Beto the benefit of the doubt. All in all, as an Everton striker, he's been really, really poor. He had a real good purple patch when Moyes came in. And to be fair, that was massively important. But I've seen other players have purple patches. And that's what it was. This in my opinion, and people can have whatever opinion they want. This is my opinion. Beto, this is the real Beto. The Beto who scored the goals last season, that was a purple patch. This is the Beto we've seen most of the time at Everton. If you've got a centre forward you cannot rely on, and it's good. Forget about other players, by the way. Forget about Dominic Calvert-Lewin and forget about whatever. If he's our main striker, and what we've seen from this season is one Premier League goal, and most of his games he doesn't have an effect on the game, then for me this is the real Beto. We need another centre forward. The club have gone all in on Barry. And so far, we've seen very little of Barry. But he's a young man. He'll take time. But that's no good to us right now. You've got to be able to rely on your players. Things can change for players, don't get me wrong. Mateta scored a hat-trick today. He looked terrible against us. Don't get me wrong. He looked absolutely terrible against us. But he scored a hat-trick today. And he's got a decent run of form over the last 12 to 18 months to point to. But they've always had, other teams have backup players to help them out. We don't have a backup striker. We have two backup strikers. Let's be honest about that. We have two backup strikers. And that's an issue. And like I said before, you've got two wide men there who are going to create chances. And if we've got players who can't take chances, who can't take opportunities, who can't hit the target, who miss sitters like Beto did today, then it's going to be very, very hard for Everton to score goals. It really is. When we should be scoring lots of goals. Lots of goals. Erling Haaland would score a bagful in our team. I know he's the best, but he'd score a bagful from the chances that are created. Yeah, it's such an issue. It really is an issue. Will that be sorted in January? I don't know, Will we go and get like another centre forward to just fill the gap? I don't know. Yeah. 2 big opportunities for them, and he hasn't hit the target on either. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. But that's your job. And if you can't do that job, then what's the point? Yeah. So Beto for me, a 4. The subs. Maitland Roll came on at the 70th minute. Good to see him back. Come on for Carlos Alcaraz. Did all right. Looks like, hopefully, if a player can stay fit, looks like someone who will be all right in the Premier League. I think we saw that from both of his sort of sub cameos. He's done all right so far. Touches 15, 1 dribble, successful. 2 ground duels, both won. Listen, if we can keep this lad fit, then we've got someone, hopefully, that can fit in, can go into the team, maybe give it to Sagana Gay opportunities, maybe goes in and plays centre midfield and James Garner goes to right back, maybe. But he just got to keep him fit. Just got to give him a few opportunities, and then maybe he gets into the team. Maybe if the manager might look at him and goes fit, he can go in. If Branthwaite isn't quite ready for next week, then Branthwaite comes back and starts on the bench. Jacob Brien could go centre back, and Garner could go right back, maybe. So, he did all right. He did all right today. So I give him a 6.6 for today. Tieram Abunam, again, 80% pass accuracy. Won 3 out of his 4 ground duels. Won 2 out of his 3 tackles. So again, come on, and did all right. No, and listen, didn't move, didn't move the needle or anything on getting his attack or anything, but just done the job when maybe City did not add anything attacking wise, but just come on and do all right. So Tieram Abunam, I give a 6.7. Tieno Barry came on. I think he should have brought him on earlier. I think that's the first thing I'd say. Bringing him on with 15 minutes to go. Not sure, again, Beto deserved that. I mean, he didn't really do anything. 3 aerial duels, 1-1. No ground duels. Passes. 2 passes, 100% pass accuracy. No shots on target. Didn't really do anything, sadly. Hard to make a judgment on a play when he doesn't do anything. So, Tieno Barry, 5.8. Dwight McNeil came on. Can you believe it? He came on. Accurate passes 2. Sound. 1 dribble, unsuccessful. 3 touches. Didn't do anything. Was on the pitch for 12 minutes, didn't do anything. 5.5 for him. And Tyler Dibben came on for the last 5 minutes. 2 touches. 3 touches. 3 touches in total. 2 passes, 2 accurate passes. Again, didn't really do anything. Was on the pitch for... What did he come on? Came on, played 12 minutes. Again, didn't really do anything. Didn't add anything to the game. So, 5.5 for him today as well. There you go. Disappointing. I don't even know I've got 35 minutes out of this. I should have been a lot quicker. Disappointing. One of those games. We'll move on. It won't last in the memory. It's just another defeat at Sadly, at Manchester City, another year goes by that we don't win there. But you've got to be at your best to beat the best, and we win. And we win at our best. In the first half, we did well, but we win at our best. And you need your best players. You need Jack Grealish. You need Branthwaite. So we move on. Spurs next week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to watch my instant match reaction. Make sure to check out Baz's videos as well. Thanks for watching. See you later.